A sinking feeling settled in the pit of my stomach. How could this be? How could the pages in this book be blank? Everything I had been through thus far had led me here, to this very moment. Yet the book offered no solace, no guidance. It was as if the universe was playing a cruel joke on me, mocking my desperate search for answers. I took a deep breath, desperately trying to collect myself, but it was futile. The disappointment washed over me like a tidal wave, pulling me deeper into the state of despair I was already in. Why was I being fed the feeling of certainty when that feeling was wrong? It felt like my mind was on the verge of breaking, unable to understand the gravity of my situation. In that moment of utter hopelessness, a loud crash shattered through the eerie silence of the library. Instinctively, I sought refuge behind one of the towering bookshelves. Staying low, I peeked out. My heart raced and my breath caught in my throat. An entire upper level to the library had just materialized out of nowhere, and a wooden door was swaying off the hinges from the impact. I couldn't see what had caused the impact, but footsteps began emitting from the spot by the door, walking towards the stairs in the middle of the room. Silently, I observed my surroundings, hoping to catch a glimpse of what had caused the commotion. Shadows danced along the walls, casting an eerie glow as if the very air within the library had come alive. Each creak and shift of the old library echoed through the chambers like a haunting symphony. Time seemed to stretch endlessly as I waited, my heart thundering in my ears. The blank pages of the book taunted me, a cruel reflection of my search. But I couldn't give up now, not when I was so close to uncovering the truth. I stood there, my eyes fixated on the scene unfolding before me. Each footstep echoed through the room, their rhythm slow, yet purposeful. They were making their way over to the pristine office chair I had noticed earlier. The chair leaned back slightly, as if accommodating the weight of an invisible occupant. It gracefully rolled itself across the room until it reached the desk in the corner. The desk, strategically positioned to face the center of the room, seemed ready to welcome the mysterious presence that had captivated my attention. I couldn't tear my gaze away from the surreal spectacle. It was as if the room had come alive, orchestrating its own performance. The chair waiting expectantly, the desk standing tall. Everything was in perfect harmony. Curiosity overwhelmed me, urging me to step forward. Who was the invisible guest that had claimed this sanctuary? What secrets did this office chair and desk hold? Questions and doubts whirled through my mind as I continued to watch, my sense of wonder intensifying with each passing moment. But then, words pierced the still air.
Bring me the book.
What do you know about this book?
Obsession.
What even are you?
Stranger.
Do you know what these caves are?
Ancient.
Well, of course they're ancient. But what are they?
Forgotten. Sit down. Bring me the book.
Considering what he had done to the door, I didn't argue with him. I brought him the book, and I set it on the desk. I had a seat at the office chair that had materialized in front of his desk. I didn't ask any more questions just yet. The book flipped open on its own, and to my amazement, it wasn't blank, but I also couldn't read it. It was in a language that I had never seen before in my entire life. And I didn't know what else to do but ask. What does it say?
Beyond human comprehension.
But what if I want to comprehend?
Surrender to the unknown.
How?
Dive into the abyss.
The old library began to tremble with an alarming intensity, and a surge of fear shot through me. I watched with bewildered fascination as the invisible stranger rose from the chair, the weight of their presence lifting as the chair returned to its pristine and undisturbed state. No footsteps reverberated through the room, adding an eerie aura to the already perplexing situation. A sense of foreboding enveloped me as I glanced at the open book on the desk, one that felt both foreign and alienating. It was as if I had only just realized I had crossed over into an uncharted realm where comprehension failed me. Then, out of nowhere, a gaping sinkhole materialized in the heart of the library, its depths shrouded in impenetrable darkness. My heart leaped into my throat as I teetered dangerously close to the edge, feeling the pull of the abyss threatening to engulf me. Desperately, I stumbled over the desk, barely avoiding a perilous fall into the ominous void. In an instant, the office chair I had been seated on succumbed to the sinkhole's unholy magnetism. I stood there, my eyes fixated on the chair as it plummeted into the depths, vanishing into the black abyss. With a mixture of fear and curiosity, I pondered what mysteries this sinkhole concealed and what role it had to play in, quote, surrendering to the unknown. As I cautiously turned my gaze back to the book, my heart pounded with a mixture of apprehension and curiosity. The violent shaking I had just experienced had left me disoriented and weary, yet the allure of unraveling the mysteries within this strange tomb was irresistible. The words scrawled out on the page may have seemed to be a jumble of nonsensical madness. However, the pictures accompanying the text were vivid and haunting, weaving a tale of their own, and the message that they conveyed was unmistakable. Leap into the abyss. A chill ran down my spine as contemplation set in. Who was the invisible being whom I had conversed with? The isolation of my existence intensified as I realized I had no idea how long I had actually been without any form of meaningful conversation. The thought both fascinated and terrified me. With an unsteady breath, I considered the implications. Was this my chance to break free, to venture into the great unknown? Or was it a sinister trick, luring me towards more danger and darkness? Though uncertainty tugged at my gut, a spark of determination ignited within me. I couldn't resist the call of the abyss. The prospect of discovering answers and perhaps even finding a semblance of connection amidst the shadows to my sister. With tentative resolve, I steeled myself for what lay ahead, ready to embrace the invisible being's challenge and take that leap into the abyss. Only then would I truly comprehend the magnitude of the enigma that had engulfed my existence. I tried to steady myself, getting ready to make my leap into the sinkhole. But then, my foot slipped on a broken section of the floor, and everything spiraled out of control. The impact on my head was brutal, sending me into a state of unconsciousness. When my senses slowly returned, I found myself in a terrifying predicament. Darkness enveloped me from all sides, as if I were lost in a void with no way out. A sense of weightlessness overcame me, making it feel like I was floating in zero gravity. I would have thought so if it wasn't for the wind. My groggy mind struggled to make sense of the situation. I was still falling? Or had I entered some kind of endless descent? The throbbing pain in my head reminded me of the unfortunate accident, but I couldn't be sure if I was bleeding in this darkness. Desperation compelled me to reach into my pocket, grasping for my flashlight. I pulled it out, feeling a small glimmer of relief. With trembling hands, I switched on the flashlight, hoping to catch a glimpse of my surroundings, but to my profound disappointment, the light did nothing to penetrate the oppressive darkness. It felt as if the beam vanished into thin air, leaving me still blind and disoriented. Panic welled up inside me as I realized that the darkness was impenetrable, devouring every shred of light. How was I supposed to find my way out when even my trusted flashlight was rendered useless? Each passing moment amplified my fear and confusion. The weightless void mocked me, making it impossible to sense any direction or establish a point of reference. I was adrift, devoid of any semblance of control. Clutching onto my flashlight tightly, I felt the coldness of despair creep into my heart again. What if I was trapped in some alternate dimension forever? The thought sent shivers down my spine, threatening to break my fragile resilience. With a heavy heart, I began to accept the harsh reality before me. Would I ever escape these caves? Could this really be the end for me? These questions haunted my thoughts, suffusing me with a sense of hopelessness that clung to my every breath. As the darkness continued to swallow me whole, I clung desperately to my flashlight. It became my only symbol, my only source of light in this overwhelming darkness. It represented my refusal to give up, to keep searching for a way out, no matter how futile it seemed. Lost, suspended, and surrounded by an abyss of undying darkness, I grappled with my dwindling hope. I had no clue how long I could have been falling for, or if there was even an end to this disorienting descent. But I couldn't let go. I held on to my flashlight, praying for a miracle, longing for a glimmer of light to guide me back to safety. And then there it was.